What's going on, everybody? Triple Crown 24 back today. I'm doing a contest response for PurpleGT, and I'm doing this today even though I said that my next video would be my podcast because this contest idea is absolutely fantastic. It might be the best contest idea I've seen on YouTube. It's just, I really enjoyed watching a lot of videos that came out yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you saw those videos as well, and I wanted to make my own just hearing everybody's stories. And mine might be a little bit more personal than what some people have shared. And sorry, not sorry about that, but I feel that this is some of the details I'm sharing are integral to talking about how YouTube has impacted my life as a content creator. So, a lot of people have started off with talking about their YouTube history, I would say, how they got into it. For me, I'm going to go back a little bit more to when I was in middle school, actually. Many years before I started getting into YouTube as a creator that I am now. And with that, I had moved to the school district that I graduated high school from. And I got to tell you guys, it was not a fun time that first year. I faced a lot of bullying. I didn't really fit in. I can't remember how many days I sat alone at the lunch table. It was just it was not a good experience, and I had a lot of people who, like, because of the bullying, where my you're really developing your identity at that time, like as a adolescent type of deal, or preteen, whatever it is at that age, and so that's kind of a challenge. But one thing that my dad would tell me, and it wasn't like he'd tell me this every day, but it was often enough where it kind of got ingrained into my head, and now it's kind of silly to think about, but it's still something that I've had to work through, especially in recent times. And this is by no means to garner empathy or anything, it's just me telling my story. In all honesty, I don't want to get any pity from this, but my dad would often tell me that my interests and thoughts, opinions, all that, basically the things that made up my identity, didn't matter. That I shouldn't talk about them or talk about them nearly as much as I do. I should listen to what other people have to say because they are much more interesting than me and they have much more interesting things to say than me. And I do try to take the listen more than I speak approach in life. I will often I like to spectate more conversations, I would say, than engage in them. And there's good and bad to that. I don't think that's the best way to go about things right now, and it's something that I'm working on changing. But he told me this several times during that year that I had first moved, and then he also told me that more times leading up to when he eventually passed away in 2013. And that stuck with me for a long time, and it still has today. And after that, it was kind of like a turning point because that was the first time I kind of had my self confidence put into question, and I really just became a more reserved person. And I really carry around that mentality that people don't care what I have to say, people don't care what I have to think, and that I'm not. I shouldn't be able to, I guess, feel or speak or act the way that other people do about certain things, if that makes sense. So I carried that on until I got to college, and I got over it a little bit. But there were still some things that I kept hidden. And it was almost like I had to walk on eggshells around people where I couldn't talk about some parts of me, like how I felt about things, or this hobby in particular is one thing. I never shared it with anyone until I was not too far away from graduation. And then, like, towards the end of my time at in undergrad, I kind of started going back into that same rut that I was in before, where I kind of had lost that freedom to be myself. Like, felt like I couldn't do it anymore. So if we move forward into spring of 2018, I was kind of at a crossroads where I was able to make my transition to the graduate program that I'm in now, and I'm very thankful for where I'm at right now, and I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. because I was able to get into YouTube. And I decided to do it because I had some TTMs that I was getting in, and I was able to share them on social media and on the blowout forums. And that was so much fun, and people really responded well to my posts there. So I figured I would go ahead and go to YouTube because I saw a lot of YouTubers who are posting up their TTMs. And that's not something I do anymore. I just don't show off my TTMs really unless it's something big. And it's kind of just tied into a different episode of one of my mail days. So I just decided to make videos because I thought I could just show it off and I can get that interaction and talk with people about my hobby, because really I don't have that. You can tell that I'm young. I'm in my 20s, and I'm definitely in this oddball group of people in terms of my age demographic for collecting. I'm kind of a minority, I would say, within the community if you look at age demographics. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with being the young guy, by all means. So moving forward with that is that YouTube then became something that I could have never imagined. And that was when I started to, I really would say this year when I did my 1 year anniversary video was a big turning point. Even if you want to go back before that, the last video I made before I left for my spring training trip, where it was kind of personal, I talked about some details about my life, was also a big turning point there. Those are kind of the two big videos that I felt really got me into the community. And before that, I was having a good time, and I was meeting people and interacting with people and having fun, but I wasn't really forming too many connections. I wasn't really talking to people off of YouTube. But that started to change this year, and now I have a lot of phone numbers. I have a lot of Facebook. I made a Facebook just for collecting and to connect with my collecting friends outside of YouTube. And I'm part of some groups now, and it's so much fun. I'm really immersed in it, and being able to just talk about the hobby and something that I'm passionate about with people who get it, who understand it, and who appreciate it. And that's a big part of making the content as well. And I would say the biggest thing for me, and this was something I mentioned a little bit in my national videos, was that when I went this year to the national, I would say this was really the culmination of my journey to more so self-acceptance, I would say. I don't think it's over. I'm always growing, and I'm always trying to learn new things and improve myself, but it was one of the most major milestones, I would say, is that while I was on that trip, not once during the national did I ever feel like I couldn't be myself. I didn't even have to think about putting on a front. I didn't have to think about hiding my passions or hiding who I am or not talking about myself. And I owe all of that to all of you. And I was able to do that in front of a group of strangers that I had never met before. I'm very much an introvert. I know that maybe some of you might not have realized that, or some of you might have been able to pick up on that, who knows, while I was there. And I don't usually talk too much. I'm kind of more reserved and kind of shy. But I didn't feel that at all, and I felt like I was able to fit right in and be a part of the group when I was out at places, at both YouTuber meetups that we had. Every day at the show, I was able to walk around with people and just connect with people that I hadn't even met before or even like interacted with on YouTube. So many new YouTubers who this was like our very first interaction. And people even outside of YouTube who I met for the first time who wanted to get information about my channel or my phone number or something like that. And that was just incredible. I really owe it to this community to be able to say that. So if that's story time over, kind of, how YouTube has impacted my life is that it has enabled me to get over that ridiculous thing that was drilled into my head many years ago, that I don't matter and that my opinions don't matter and I shouldn't talk about myself, because I can do that now. And I'm very proud of what I collect. I'm proud to show off my Cabrera Super Collection and all the collections that I have and be able to talk about my stuff and know that there are people out there who are genuinely interested in what I have to say. And I can tell that by your comments. I can read those comments, and I know when people are invested in the video there are some times that I'm having a rough day or a bad day, and you'll never know it because I try to keep that off of YouTube. But well, maybe sometimes you'll see it. But I try to keep it away is my point. But sometimes you might leave a comment on my video, and some of you guys have just brightened up my day because of that comment. And I can't really recall any specific ones right now. But there have been days like that, and there have been times where I get home and it's like a huge sanctuary to be able to go in to my office in here and go on my computer and look at YouTube stuff and be able to just unwind and relax and do something that I enjoy. So YouTube has really given me that, along with the friendships that have come with it, and the friendships are probably one of the key things that who have encouraged me. Like everybody who I talk to outside of YouTube, and even just those of you who I only talk to on YouTube as well, that we've kind of developed a rapport with one another. It's incredible to have that many friendships that I've been able to develop, and I never really feel like I'm alone anymore. I never really feel like I'm on my own, and people are very supportive and encouraging of me. And that's just you don't get that every day in life. I think it's we live in a world where it's hard sometimes to find people who are genuinely interested in you, and will take a genuine interest in your interest if they don't have that. I guess there's not as much understanding, I would say, towards, well, I don't do this, so uh, it must be lame type of mentality. Where I try, I'm not trying to like elevate myself here by any means, but some people have come and confided with me in my personal life about some of their hobbies, and I have tried to be very supportive of them because I know that I would not want someone to kind of, uh, how should I put it, damper the mood on my. It's probably not the best way, but to kind of talk down my hobby or my interest. I don't think that that's something that's very constructive, but I've seen it happen a lot in the world. But it doesn't happen on here. I mean, it happens from time to time. I won't be that naive, but for the most part, I'd say like 99.9% of the time, it is so much a supportive community on here, not just for me, but for everybody that I have encountered. And I'm so incredibly grateful for that. You can tell that this is a good group of people. There's some really good guys and gals out there who are members of this community, and I'm so grateful for their friendship. And especially if you're watching this to this point in this video, I'm incredibly grateful for you. Even those of you who have never left a comment before, who watch my videos, I don't know who you are, but if you're watching this right now, thank you. And I really appreciate your support because I know that you're there, and I know that you're still showing your support. Um, if you are someone who is watching this who wants to create content but doesn't have a channel right now, go make a channel. I really think that it would be beneficial for you to be able to share your collection and talk with the rest of us as well. If you want to, if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. But if you're thinking about it at all, start a channel, and I think you'll be surprised where it takes you. There are some connections on here that are just hard to put into words. So I guess I gotta kind of wrap it up here. But what has YouTube given to me? It's provided a lot in here, and it has provided me with some fantastic friendships and a real sense of community, which I would say is the underlying theme among all of the videos that I have seen so far. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, especially if you stayed here until the end. And a huge thank you to PurpleGT, who talked about what YouTube has meant to him and had the idea for this contest. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. Beyond this, I'm going to go watch one of his videos here in a minute, unless I need to eat breakfast, but then I'll go watch one of his videos. And I'm looking forward to what's next. So next time I will see you for the podcast, and then I'll have some mail day videos coming up. But until next time, I will see you guys later, and thank you so much for watching.